50 movies in 50 weeks. I'm your host, Joey Hollywood, and I'm trying to get through all 50 movies in this Mill Creek box set in 50 weeks. The movie I watched today was called Nightmare Castle. But before I get into that, I forgot to mention this. In my announcement for this additional 50 movies, I mentioned that I was thinking about replacing this box set, this one here, this cardboard one, with the traditional plastic case, and I eventually did because the lining here just kind of broke, and I was like, I'm not going to deal with this. This is a mess. This is an awful package. This is so much better, especially because they're double discs. When I watched all these movies on here, every time I took out the disc, it just seemed to get scratched by the case itself. This is a horrible packaging. But with that review out of the way, let's talk about the actual movie we watched on this box set, Nightmare Castle. An Italian movie. I could tell it was Italian right from the start, which is interesting because a week or two ago we had an Italian movie, and I thought it was German for some reason. But this one I just knew, it just felt Italian. I was like, oh yes, my blood, I can feel it. I can feel my ancestry from Italy telling me this is an Italian movie. But going into this one blind, I really, really liked it. From the title Nightmare Castle, I imagined it was going to be kind of like an American old dark house movie, you know, one of those whodunits from the 50s and 30s. That's not what this movie is. This movie would be more comparable to something like The Gaslight, or with a more supernatural element. Actually, there's a Hammer movie called Paranoia, I think. And yeah, Paranoia. That's what this movie reminded me of. The British film Paranoia. That's an excellent movie. You should watch that. But let me redirect back to the movie I saw. The movie starts off in it's a Gothic castle. It's in black and white. It's really good looking. I found out there's a Blu-ray of this, and if I wasn't so poor, I would probably impulse buy it. But because I love Italian movies. But this movie opens up in this dark castle, interesting lighting, and there is a mad scientist, of course. You know, I have a feeling that this box set is going to be full of mad scientists. And his wife cheats on him with a gardener. And the mad scientist catches them. And he tortures them to death. But right before he kills his wife, she reveals that all of her money, the castle and everything, is being left to her sister, who has psychological problems. So, the mad scientist tries to marry the sister and drive her even more crazy so he can get her money. And throughout, there's actually a really funny, like, really goofy element of this movie where there's a little old lady that's like the housekeeper, and he uses mad science to make her young, and she kind of becomes a vampire. She needs young blood to stay young. Her name is Solange, and the only reason why I remember that is there's an Italian movie, there's a Giallo movie called Whatever Happened to Solange? Solange doesn't sound like a name. Like, as it comes out of my mouth, it doesn't sound right. Solange. Solange? How do you say that name? You know, I heard it in the movie. They say Solange. I don't know. If I'm saying it wrong, tell me in the comment section. But yeah, that's one of the more like goofy elements of it, is that he makes this woman young. But there's a lot of scenes where they're trying to drive the sister crazy, and they put like LSD in her drink, and she flips out. She starts seeing all this crazy stuff. And then it's revealed later that she never drank the LSD. That was just pure, unfiltered crazy from her. So they're like, oh, this is going to be easier than we thought. But then there's an element in the movie, and this is where I was saying that there's kind of a supernatural element to this movie, is it seems like her sister is possessing her body and foiling all of the mad scientist's plans to inherit his now dead ex-wife's fortune. And I don't know, there was a lot of good twists and turns in this. The filmmaking is pretty good, very gothic. If you know anything about black and white Italian films, it's really a good representation of that, like the more like exploitative stuff. I love that stuff. I have a ton of Italian horror movies. They're really, it's one of my favorite genres. So this was a real treat for me, and if this sounds interesting to you, I don't want to give too much away because I think this one's a real treat. I feel like we've watched 4 movies now, 4 weeks, and I think we only had one dud, and that one I think was only a dud for me. It might not be a dud for other people. So yeah, I think we're on an excellent path this year. I really enjoyed this movie, and I hope you check it out. And if you do check it out and you like it or you don't, come back and let me know. I'd really like to hear your thoughts on it. I had a blast with this one. I'm just getting repetitive now. I know last week I said that if the reviews are short, it probably means I didn't like it, but I liked this one a lot, and I just don't want to give too much away. I think this one is worth your time. Like I was saying earlier, if I wasn't so broke, I'd probably buy this on Blu-ray because it was a lot of fun. And that's going to be it for now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week. Remember, please be kind.